you want to stop me, you'd better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us. But I am not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. What's cracking, peeps? It's Jax, and we're back with Buried. Now, we just reached the end of chapter 2. We just met a madman with a gun, and now we're getting off the lift, aren't we? Oh, I forget this is where it tells you how well you've done. I should have done this in the last video, sorry. You and 42% of players stayed quiet when you saw Marcus in the tunnel. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. You and 35% of players kept hitting Marcus after he surrendered. That will probably come back to bite us. That will probably come back to bite us. We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the operations center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? Marcus stops in his tracks as if he has forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There, he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. Now, do we look at the monitors or peer into the open vault? We might not get another chance to look at the vault. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault he's opened. It's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. For the split second open, I see a scanned document and a colour photo. The photo shows a male corpse with its guts on the outside of its body, as if it has been turned inside out. There's also massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with violet-covered fluid that, while rather pretty in colour, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on! But he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulder as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little. He only nods, he doesn't seem to care. Just pull it off gently. Why is that important? You will pull it off gently. I lift the shirt off gently and it makes a sucking sound. There's so much blood that the moisture tries to keep the shirt pulled too. Oh, it was a bad idea. Dennis lets out a little moan but seems to relax in spite of his injuries. With the shirt fully removed, the extent of his injuries becomes more clear. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. His medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I looked over to Marcus hopefully and asked, "You have any training?" "Zero. Sorry. It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be of much help anyway." I start by taking out the several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure. But I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and looks appreciative, but he's also scared. "Be honest. How bad does it look? You think I'll live?" You got to keep reassuring him. You don't want to, like in situations like that, you need to keep someone positive. I've not really been in a situation like that too much that I can think of. But again, it's another important one. You chose to comfort Dennis. Good to know, because I sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell. I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks, that's a relief. I won't lie, you're gonna have a scar. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humour in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape. I then reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meagre, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger. Actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. I look back to Marcus and he is looking back at us, deep in thought. Are these first aid kits all you have in the facility? If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now, just a slight change to his demeanour. He's seen something on those monitors that has frightened him, more than he already has before. What is it? What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. I'm going to just look at the monitors. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that I can't even comprehend hidden in the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message trickling along the bottom of a black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3 containment doors engaged. Override." I see still scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were just on a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognise, and the floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged, or melted together, melted into the floor. I want to know what happened to that person. I have no idea. I didn't see it. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell? There's something still happening. Are we in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment I consider just tearing into him, a few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now, but I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. We're not going the aggressive route again. It's not going to help anyone in this situation. We need to pull together as a team. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew? My anger is prodding at me and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It was part of my job. Mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognise us when we met in the hallway? He shakes his head and exhales like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. Okay, I'm going to be a bit more bold now. I know we're going to be calm, but I want to know. Where the hell is my crew? Look, all of you are on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked though. Oh, that was Marcus, sorry. I can tell he is starting to get rattled by this interrogation. He continues with his eyes fixed on the keyboard. They might have come here near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. I'd tell you if I did, okay? Well, are they in the facility? I shouted. You have cameras everywhere, right? Look for them. Marcus puts his hands up defensively. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. But the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten down there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, the depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of one... I can't read today. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Oh, I'm going to keep going aggressive. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything, probably very little, but what I do know is that it is more than Black Ops. What does that mean? There are scientists here who have been disowned by their governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't, not at all, but I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure, and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he is talking in riddles. I don't... Oh, God. I look over to Dennis, and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up, and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look to the monitor and see the login site. But more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and Tony's crushed body several feet away from it, where I'd pulled him out. Tony. The fact of his death seems abstract, almost like it happened in some other world, or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, but it's different actually seeing him. My God! Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out. I realise this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. Okay, let's just pause for a moment. Now, we told Dennis about Tony's death, and that did play an important role, because as we saw, he saw Tony's body, and that if he didn't know about Tony being dead, that might have, like, I don't know, it might have just worsened him. If we hadn't told Dennis about Tony, who knows how far Dennis would have been in terms of emotional pain that would have made his wounds even worse. We don't know. So I'm really glad about that. Do we leave him here, or do we take him with us? I'm going to ask him if he's going to be okay first. You going to be okay? It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door. Are we really going with this guy? I don't trust him. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand, and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if I need it. With a final look back to Dennis, I run out to the second level hallway. Oh, I hope Dennis is alright. If there was a person there, like a human, they surely would have said something. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command centre. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are on. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left down a corridor. There! Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command centre just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. We're going slow. We're not gonna do anything stupid. When we reached the intersection in the hall, where I'd seen the shadow moving, I eased around the corner just in case. Sure, I have the rifle in my hands, but I don't want to use it unless I have to. I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes. And you're Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. Okay, in my head she looks like Bernadette from The Big Bang Theory, based on the description it just gave us. We're going with that. I'm not gonna... She nods absently and then looks at my rifle. I'm not gonna use it. Yeah, I'm happily say that. I'm not gonna shoot a woman just outright unless she tries to kill us. Now, how do I know that? You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command centre who needs medical attention, and we were looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are. Do you know what happened from the power outage? I don't know what caused it, but there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and... She trails off, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics. I barely escaped the 3rd floor. I was going to go to the command center to see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. If I say what experiment, she'll just be like, we're not going to tell you because it's secret, government, blah blah blah. What is you so scared? Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyway? I quickly give her my story, a logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the login site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers? Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were. This was a freak accident and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all of their questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. Ask about medical help for Dennis. I feel like we'll find out more details anyway. Let's keep Dennis alive. I decide that despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? Probably, but you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows where all of these sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everyone else? At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone has struck her from behind. Gone. Some were killed and some were just... I don't know. They disappear right in front of me. What the hell is going on here? Something's here with us. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? I don't even know that much. An entity. But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So, what do you suggest we do now? I'm not sure. But if you could find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Then let's go. It's not that easy, Amy says again, looking to the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There's several of them, all roaming the 3rd level. Okay, right. What came through? All I know is that the others referred to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look. All I did was run for my life. Behind me, I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right. Stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, it was crazy. This is insane. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, but Barksdale's on the 3rd floor. It's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither of you know your way around here. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. Entities. There's going to be entities. How's Dennis doing? Is he alright? I really hope so. We enter the command center and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his colour. We're going to get you some help, and then we're going to go find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great. With the way you took an hour to get my shirt off earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Are there any of them on this floor, or what can they do? Are there any on this floor? I'm not sure, but they are down on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his head in agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back out into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked login site and feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitors showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us is like a physical presence. And maybe there's an entity. Ha ha ha. This is cool now, more characters, I like it. We step inside the elevator and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that that it is something of a relief for her to get some of it off of her chest. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there is any real viable science behind point-to-point instantiation. Wait, what? Instantiation. That's not a word, is it? Instantiation. Teleporting. Like teleporting. Oh my god, I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not that all insane. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? I can tell that he wants to sound as if he is mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Not at all. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and its intestines were on the outside of its body. What does this have to do with us now, or did you ever perfect it? What do you mean, what does this have to do with us? That's kind of a stupid question to ask. Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made that same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time, in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. I kind of understood that in my but okay, Roger didn't understand that. Okay, unknit or unknit because I'm British and everyone else is American. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why? Exactly. Because there are so many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So when you sent the rat to New Mexico, it's travelling through another dimension to get there, basically. And because of that, we were trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she is talking about. Is that why those creatures are here? That's obvious. That's... Come on. That's clearly what's happened. What have you seen in these dimensions? Other worlds, other Tegmark universes, where our laws of nature don't apply. She says, not bothering to explain what that means. I'm not clear for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? I'm given access to the test. I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset, you guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see? I can't believe I've wasted my life for this. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all of this. Oh, this is... I don't want to say you people are insane, because it's human curiosity. You know, humans are built to destroy ourselves. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to destroy ourselves. We are curious. We build AIs. They're going to destroy everyone in the future. Very, very pessimistic over here about what's going to happen in the future. Like, humans are curious and they want to explore things that we don't understand, and we want to understand things that we don't know about. So in a way, it's quite incredible. You were impressed by Amy's work. That was important. Oh, maybe if I said that they were insane, maybe what's his name would have preferred me to say that. Damn it. So this is all like interdimensional stuff, in a way. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. Oh no, I don't want anything to do with this. All this time I've been working for... He laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet. You assholes have been tearing apart space and time. When the elevator doors open, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside of the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. See, if we'd have said that's crazy, that means he would have gone, yeah, it is, da 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 da, and we would have been on his side. Now we're on her side, essentially. The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only, but more noticeable than that is all of the blood. My god, I've never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, looking like a... Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire. Oh, that was her, okay. Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. The research you all do down here had better be worth it. We have to get moving, or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale's in the hangar. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Then let's hurry. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3, and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. Oh, okay. Okay. I think, like, don't get me wrong, like, I would be more than happy for her to take the lead, but there's clearly a divide between how Marcus feels about her. He sees her as the bad guy because she was working on these experiments with the rest of them, and he feels like his life's work has been wasted on all this. So I'll go first. Stay behind me. The 4 of us start walking ahead with me in the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks to be 3 different people. It is hard to tell how many bodies there were because they have been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies look as though they've been fused together. Another man looks to have had his leg welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an internal scream. Let's investigate the bodies. I wonder if we'll find anything. I see half a face pushed down into the floor like putty, barely attached to a separated skull. A single dead eye stares at me. I think I might puke. Behind me, Marcus does just that. As I listen to him heaving, my eyes cannot leave the carnage. There is blood everywhere, a crimson pool flooding the floor. There are hunks of skin and tissue splattered on the wall, and a strand of unspooled intestine that clings to the floor like a dead snake. Dennis steps up beside me, and when he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What in the hell could do that to someone? The things I saw, they could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think that she might pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she is visibly shaking, but she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. Sorry, my throat's hurting. I want to keep exploring because at least at the moment we feel like I think we're okay. I've never seen so much blood before. What's even more sickening than the mayhem is the unnatural look of it. I'm familiar with blood splatter. I hit a deer at 60 miles an hour on the interstate with a load of logs behind me. Many of those bodies have somehow been gently pushed into the wall, through the floor, halfway inside a desk, dead. No explosive power, just squeezed and pressed like clay. Their faces contorted into screams trying to comprehend what is happening to them. Still, I manage to steady my nerves. I take a few deep breaths and am finally able to continue onward. We leave the grisly sight behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. And from what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't just been destroyed, it has been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is a standard violence I was expecting to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage, and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. Now, if we ask her that, she might start bursting out in tears. But that's kind of, I don't really care about that. That's like we can. Let's face it, this is happening. We got to believe it now. I only caught a glimpse of it. I was closest to the exit, so I just started running. But it was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. People's bodies just started twisting and turning. And the thing that did this, it looked like... She doesn't finish. She's cut off by some sound echoing through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio, but there is a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that? Instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them! Her voice whisper. Oh, it's a whisper. One of them! One of the creatures! That's what they sound like? I see that he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realise that I have a death grip on that rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. Anything between them and us? Or how far away? How far away are they? I should have gone with the other one. About 100 meters. Not far. Everything seems to take this as the cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip my rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. Ooh. No, how much further? close. It's just at the end of the hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new violent gravity. Bloody hell, man. Get out of there. Oh, God. Look at this. Get out of there. The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if it was designed to only be used by select maintenance workers. What goes on in this area? I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, pointing to Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, but at the end there is a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I take a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hall extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue farther down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? 3, but that's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like? Can we talk about something? No, we need to talk about what's going on now. I don't even know how to explain them. Monsters. That's the only word I can think of. My mind seemed to struggle just trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband always said I'd let my work kill me, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops, walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down. No, there's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar fast. This is the question now. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together we might be able to pull it close behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton. There's no way it'll work. Roger, what do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if the doors are locked. Look! We need to get to the hangars now. Oh, okay, so now it's like, am I siding with Amy or am I siding with Marcus? I honestly think if it was me, I would just run. I wouldn't bother. Like, I think you would just keep moving. I'm going to keep moving to the hangar. Let's see what happens. You decided to leave the doors open and run. No, with all the carnage back there, I doubt we could stop them. That's what I'm saying. Let's haul ass. Amy tries to speak. But there's... What? But the rest of us already... Crap! She was going to say something. I speed towards the hangar doors, not even looking back to see how far Amy has fallen behind us. Panic and hope are fighting within me and I can't stop myself from sprinting. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds out elsewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are 2 of them. It's almost like they are calling out to one another. The doors to the hangar sit up ahead, like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. Amy's gonna die and it's gonna be my fault. Bloody hell, man. Choices, man. Choice-based games. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and there's a blinking red light. Any idea what this means? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown. I've never been down it before. If I'd have known that this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center. You need to override from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the 2nd floor. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Do you hear those things? There's no way in hell I'm going back towards them through that small hallway. If we want to get into the hangar, we have to get back to the command center. That's Marcus saying it. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is another elevator, but we'll need to go through biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest. You two go. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, but we'll need to be armed. No way I'm giving him the gun again. Nah, he's a loose cannon. I'm giving Amy the gun. You gave Amy the gun. I hand Amy the rifle and she turns to go, and Marcus gives me a concerned look but follows along behind her. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors? Oh, that was him, okay. Yeah, I think so. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, and find that it's locked. So I either kick it down or push with my shoulder. Okay. Maybe this is like an injury thing. If I push with my shoulder, maybe I'll hurt my shoulder. If I kick it, maybe I'll hurt my foot. I'm going to kick it down. I give it a frustrated kick, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again, but that's when I hear a gunshot from just down the hallway. Oh my god. My first thought is that Amy and Marcus have come upon one of those things. One of those monsters. But I don't hear any of that strange static sound I've come to associate with them. Alarm bells go off in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hall, away from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into the maintenance room. Where are you going? I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad, man. Oh, snap. This is not going to be good. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I am fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of hallways up ahead. I think I overhear a voice, a woman's voice. It's Amy. Stop, let go of the gun. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is wrestling with Amy, trying to take the gun away. When this doesn't work, he throws her to the ground and starts choking her. Her face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway, but acts as if what he is doing is perfectly normal. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm going to stop the nutcase. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down hard in a hard arc across the bridge of his nose as he's rewarded with a sick cracking sound. He cries out as he falls to the floor, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches at her neck and grasps for breath. I start to fear that I was at the moment too late, as if I see that the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this at the exact same moment that I do. Oh! This is one of them situations where there's two people going for the gun. Now can I hit him before he gets the rifle? I'm gonna hit him. I deliver a surprisingly strong blow with my right hand, clipping his chin from my awkward position. I'm in the process of planting a knee in his chest to hold him down where his left foot comes out of nowhere, landing hard. The kick catches me squarely in the ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the hell are you doing? By killing her, I'm saving us. All of us. This was her fault. I sense that he truly believes this. But if that's the case, why not just attack her when we were all together? The answer is simple. We might have stopped him. He wanted to kill her in private. And then what? What would he have done? Would he have done the same to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he held a gun on us. I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I'd underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle still laying on the floor and start wrestling for possession, but I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I'd prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical tanks. Do you know what? Like, this guy has actively tried to kill a number of people. What? What would happen if we done it towards the chemical tanks? Some poisonous gases get released that could make things worse for us, but could it affect the entities in a way that's damaging to them? I'm kind of tempted, you know. But we're going to force it on Marcus because of what he's done to us. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realising he is literally looking down the barrel of a gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter as he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people! It was them that did this! She deserves to die! She did this! I look to Amy and wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she is managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as if she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it is like to... He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully, but I react fast. Do you know what? We're shooting this guy. I react before thinking. My muscles take over and my finger squeezes the trigger. The blast is deafening as I watch Marcus fall to the floor. A terrifying thought races through my mind. If some of those things are here and they didn't know where we were before, they sure as hell know now. Oh, I did not even consider that. Marcus falls to the floor and I see right away that I shot him in the shoulder. His right arm dangles loosely, already covered in blood. He roars in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments I realise that they are not purely screams of pain. This bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil, along with everything involved, he wails from the floor. If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you'd better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us. But I am not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. I don't want to do this. It's like The Walking Dead. It's like those moments in Walking Dead where you're always looking, they always are making stupid decisions and you're like, why did you do that? And it's all about like whether do you let Negan live like Rick did at the end, or do you let him live? And I think in that situation he should have killed Negan, like you know. And I think in this situation, I think if we're going to survive, we can't let Marcus live, because he will come back and do something, guarantee it. Or it's just as bad as this is, and I feel really sorry for Roger because he's actually doing this. We're doing it. You decided to kill Marcus. I aim for his head and start to squeeze the trigger, but I can't complete the motion while I'm looking at him. I close my eyes tight and squeeze the trigger, and the muzzle bursts and I hear Marcus crumple onto the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realise I've been standing still, frozen with my eyes closed and my teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus's body and instead lean down to Amy. Are you okay? She nods slowly. Have to go. Her voice rasps me. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm as she gets to her feet. We start forward. Now I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time. You need to come back with me to the command centre now. We'll be back for him soon. Oh, come on. Not another decision. I stare at Marcus's dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. It is a turning point in my life that I will never recover from, but there's no time to weigh it now. As I look at him, another high-pitched static sound rings out from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably towards the other elevator she had met some moments ago. As we move out, I look back once more at Marcus's body, motionless. We start running, and after the first few strides, another noise sounds out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time it also reminds me of recordings I've heard of whale songs. I dare a look behind us and see that something has entered the doorway I came through. It is large and bright, but it is too far away to see clearly, and I have no interest in seeing it. Whether pulling that hydraulic door would have helped, I'm not sure, but seeing how close they are, I regret not doing it now. Damn it. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting furiously but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely the result of Marcus's attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked staring down at her as he tried to deliver her death. How she is still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus. It's not your fault. At least you handed me the gun. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. We both keep our eyes fixed straight ahead. Better to stay focused. We finally come to the elevator at the end of the row of silos. Now I am more concerned with the monstrosity that was on our heels. Amy furiously slaps at the button to open the doors. They slide open slowly. It feels like it's taken forever. We squeeze in before the doors are opened all the way. Amy actually falling to her knees and screaming. I ready the rifle and watch helplessly as the doors finally reach their full opening capacity. As they hold open, I see a large shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent like white glow outlines an impossible shape. Behind it I see another shape that's also entered the biochem room, and another. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right. It moves with eerie speed. They're heading in the direction of Marcus's body. Honestly, the thought of them feasting on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the button to close the elevator doors over and over, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed these damn doors. Oh, I'm gonna hide. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the sides of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen. But I can't help peeking around a corner. What are you doing? I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see them in a clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape and their colours, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not quite what these things are. They are grey and white and seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages but use them to glide. They move like ghosts and seem to jerk every few feet or so. But I am pretty sure that this jerking effect is not a result of their moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they are moving exactly. It's also more their appearance that makes them a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inwards as if the space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That peculiar effect on the air makes their movements seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle and see that my ammo is diminishing. I've only shot the gun, what, twice? 2 bullets, one for his shoulder and one for him again. I have to start saving my ammo. Yeah, I'm going to have to be choosing. Oh, I'm going to hope that this door bloody closes. You decided to conserve your ammo. They keep advancing, even though I know the doors may not close in time. I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if a gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping those creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar doors where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. Oh my god, what a chapter. What a chapter that was ridiculous. Oh my word. I didn't think that was going to last an hour. That's like most of my recording time tonight. There we go. So there's the end of chapter 3, everyone. And we made the decision to kill Marcus. I don't know if that was the correct decision or not, but he was insane. He really was. He'd lost it. You and 59% of players told Dennis he'd probably be fine. You and 65% of players sided with Marcus and didn't pull the hydraulic door. You and 69% of players gave the gun to Amy. and you and 42% of players killed Marcus, whilst you and 68% of players conserved your bullets for later instead of shooting the creatures. This thing is getting insane. We now know what these entities sort of look like, or at least their description anyway. We've left Dennis on his own, although he's alive, but for how much longer we don't know. We killed Marcus, and now we're heading back to the control centre. So come back for chapter 4, where hopefully we can get through this thing with the rest of our little team intact. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I really hope you are enjoying this series. If you did like this video, hit that like button for me, because it really does help me out. And if you are new, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and check out some of the other videos I've got going on. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.